So, there are directors that like to bombard the filmmaking process. They tend to like to help with everything and be involved with everything, like that one annoying person back in high school. This is called auteur theory. Auteur theory refers to the idea that a director may be so involved with the filmmaking process that the term director isn't enough, so they get called auteurs. There are 3 important standards to be an auteur. They must have technical competence, a distinguishable personality, and interior meaning in their work. Also, a range of films by an auteur could have recurring themes running through them and be made by a similar group of people. Alfred Hitchcock is widely considered to be an auteur. Basically, I'm going to conform to the social norm and agree that he is an auteur. His style and signature are clearly seen in his early movies like Psycho, The Birds, and Vertigo, as well as his more recent movies. Plus, they all have interior meaning. Firstly, Hitchcock tries to create consistency in his films by working with a similar group of people. For example, he worked with editor George Tomasini in many of his films, including Psycho and Vertigo. Secondly, his movies are usually thrillers, which are often psychological in nature, playing with wit and nerve rather than with the element of surprise. In saying this, Hitchcock is also known for his twist endings. So, Anyway, this allows for his movies to play with the audience's emotions and manipulate their responses the whole time rather just in short bursts. This also allows for more deeper meaning behind each film. Speaking of interior meaning, there's this huge recurring theme of birds throughout Hitchcock's movies. In Psycho, Marion's last name is Crane, which is a peaceful bird. This does apply to Marion because while she may have stolen the money from her boss, she was never really a violent person. Additionally, there's this whole back room in the motel which is full of stuffed birds. Creepy, I know. You don't have to tell me twice. All of these prey on other birds bigger than itself, which suggests that Bates is more dangerous than Marion, and that he often tries to prey on people that are more rich, powerful, or well-known than he is. In The Birds, there's literally an entire city named Bodega Bay being attacked by these really violent birds. That's like the entire plot of the movie minus the romance. It's essentially the early version of the robots are gonna take over our world, but it's made for the time. Lastly, in Vertigo, Gavin's last name is Elster, and it's German for mockingbird. Gavin is basically the main antagonist that hires the protagonist, Detective Ferguson, to spy on his wife for sus behavior. It's funny that his last name means mockingbird because he's kind of being mocked when Scotty and his wife fall in love, and that he does this to himself because he hired Scotty to spy on his wife because curiosity, so in the end, curiosity killed the cat. Birds have been a symbol of bad luck and disharmony since the ages. Since most of his films are in the horror/thriller genre and always have twist endings, it makes sense to have a reoccurring theme of birds throughout his films. Moving on, Hitchcock uses similar types of characters in his films. Some examples are the falsely accused man, the guilty woman, and of course the psychopath. An example of the falsely accused man is Detective Ferguson from Vertigo. He gets faulted for not stopping Gavin's wife, aka Mockingbird Dude, when she commits suicide. An example of a guilty woman is Marion Crane from Psycho. She steals $40,000 from her boss. And the psychopath from Psycho has to be Norman Bates, who has a split personality, mommy issues, and ends up killing Marion. Now, for our last segment, some of Alfred Hitchcock's signature moves. Number 1, there is a brief cameo of himself in every single movie. Here are some examples. About 6 minutes into Psycho, Janet returns to her office after lunch and he stood outside wearing a cowboy hat. In Vertigo, we see him while we wait for Detective Ferguson to arrive at Mockingbird Dude's place. And in The Birds, we see him right at the start of the movie as he walks out of the pet store. Hitchcock said that these started off strictly because they needed to fill up the screen, but it eventually became a superstition and a gag almost. Another thing Hitchcock always does is cast young blonde females. Take that as you want. A lot of his female lead characters could be said to have been inspired by Marilyn Monroe. He did this because he said the actions and behavior of a blonde woman would be considered more suspicious than a brunette. He also believed that they photographed better in black and white, which was kind of really important at the time since they didn't have color. Super sad, I know. All in all, I believe Alfred Hitchcock can be considered an auteur because of his technical competence in every part of the filmmaking process, his clear style and personality, and because he tries to add deeper meaning in his films through recurring themes across his movies. Yeah, okay, hope you enjoyed and learned something. Okay, bye.